Welcome yet again to Can You Believe It? We're having a very eye-opening experience with Michael Morrissey here on his experiences as an American living in this United States of America. Michael, we've talked about the issues of diversity, the issues of color, the issues of racism in this particular nation that we live in, and how they can be of a disadvantage to some. And I wanted you to kind of give us a little bit more of your perspective on how these factors that work against some show themselves in our current culture and in our current systems. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think that our current systems are trying to make up for the past, because once they get found out that certain things happen, they kind of like don't take accountability. They just, oh, that was the past. Let's destroy the past. You can't destroy the past.
Right.
It happened, and you have to recognize that it happened in order to recover from it. So some things that I thought about, mainly they pertain to the way the United States has treated Black people because of they were the first people, and Indians and Native Americans. They were called Indians and back, whatever. But now we know there's India, and those are Indians. So
Right.
Native Americans and Black people in the United States have always been treated improperly. And in like some of the videos that you've uploaded before, they were called things like degenerates and pre-Adamites,
Yes.
and things that don't even make sense. You had scientific studies like phrenology that studied the size of your skull and your
Right.
brain power. What were you talking about? The seeds that you could put in.
Yeah, and whichever skull held the most seeds.
Yeah, the most seeds. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's crazy science.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we'd have terrible atrocities. You had slavery. You had the justifications for slavery and the making Black people 3/5 of a person for voting purposes. So you could get the proper amount of people in the House of the Representatives and all this other stuff. So there was always political agenda. Even well-meaning things that you have, like Thomas Jefferson writes in the preamble of the Constitution or Declaration of Independence, I'm not sure. But pretty much the whole part of, we have certain inalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Right.
But that's only been written for white males because he still owned slaves and didn't care about women because he had, well, I shouldn't say that. I can't make judgment because he's a historical figure and I didn't live his life and I didn't talk to him. So I shouldn't say that. But, the mistreatment towards women at the time, it was 1920 before they finally had the right to vote in this country. So, when you look at the African Americans and slavery and the wars that were fought for it and against it, the Civil War is probably the most important war of the United States because, what we were able to do in fighting the Civil War was stop us from being ununified.
Correct.
And rejoin us and reconcile and put an end to a terrible institution that was pretty much outdated. And they'll say it's about states' rights. It was about states' rights, but the state right that they were fighting over was slavery. And that's their economic system in this. But there are long-lasting effects currently in today's society,
right,
due to the end of slavery and what happened after the end of slavery. So, some examples of systemic racism that happened after the end of slavery, because the 13th Amendment and the 14th Amendment and the Emancipation Proclamation didn't stop discrimination against Black people. And from that, there's also other minorities, as they started becoming more prominent, more discrimination against them as well.
Right.
And you could look at things like our migrant crisis that we currently have in the United States, and mostly people of Latin origin, that there's discrimination against them with that. And some people box them in as mostly criminals or something like that. And just really messed up stuff. Japanese internment camps during World War II, which they did to a lot of Japanese people, which was also very wrong. But mainly, I focused a few key points on legislation and types of things that have affected the African American community, such as Jim Crow laws that happened in the South. And the way that this was established was there was an election with Rutherford B. Hayes, where he lost the popular vote. And the Democrats, he was a Republican candidate, and the Democrats made a deal. We'll let Rutherford B. Hayes be the president of the United States if you withdraw all the federal troops that are protecting the South. They withdrew the federal troops, and then in came Jim Crow laws, separation, segregation. Sorry, all sorts of just messed up different stuff that in the way that they treated African Americans.
Right.
Some other things that are more recent: redlining created by the Federal Housing Authority during FDR's administration.
Right.
The war on drugs, and the war on drugs. While it seems, and that's the way they kind of do these things, they make it seem like, oh, we're doing something to benefit everybody, but in turn it has like massively negative effects on particularly black people in this case, because the war on drugs was started really by Richard Nixon, and then perpetuated by Dare and Ronald Reagan, and it policed more. It categorized drugs in a special way.
There's a problem with one.
Oh, yeah, but certain drugs were handled differently. For instance, if you were caught with powder cocaine, it wasn't as bad as you were caught with crack cocaine. Where was crack cocaine found? Mostly in black neighborhoods. Where does the crack epidemic affect? The black neighborhoods. Yet there's a stiffer penalty for selling crack cocaine and being caught with crack cocaine than the powder. So it led to a lot of over policing, things like stop and frisk, and things that we see currently going on today with random traffic stops and things like that, where we're finding in Chicagoland, we're going through a lot of debate on random traffic stops right now. Then there's the 3 strikes and you're out policy, which would put someone in jail for life for minor drug offenses or minor offenses if you got caught 3 times. So a lot of the times that also negatively impacted black people, because of the fact that those neighborhoods where they lived were over policed, because they at least focus on those neighborhoods, they stay in there, and they're proactively looking to catch people doing a crime.
So 3 times will just come without. It's very easy to get to the 3rd strike.
Right. You could get caught 3 times for selling marijuana and end up in jail for life back then. Now a lot of states have legalized marijuana, but and we have dispensaries. You're not going to arrest every person that works at a dispensary. That's insane. But there are a lot of people that have prison for life sentences because they got caught doing it. And then another thing that I'd like to speak about is the inequity in education with No Child Left Behind. No Child Left Behind is like a program. It sounds really good. Let's not leave any children behind. Let's make sure everything's good. But it's about federal funding, and the federal funding ends up going to the schools that do the best on standardized tests, not on needs basis. So it ingratiates and perpetuates people that are already have an advantage on getting more of an advantage. And it's just a cycle of disparity between the people that has and have-nots.
And you'd think they'll catch up and stuff like this and fix it, but it doesn't get fixed.
No, because everything's government from top down, and they don't understand that we need to have more parity or more a turn for where it bottom up, like that, bottom up.
Yeah.
Local to federal instead of federal draining down.
All right. Well, this is very interesting to know and to hear your opinion as a white man on some of the issues that have disturbed, or rather issues that have become issues of conflict in these United States. Well, this has been Can You Believe It? Where we believe our truth is God's truth and our responsibility as God's creatures, people created in His image, is to dig deep. We take a deep dive into the bottom of the ocean and scoop that fine sand and bring it out here for inspection. Our job again is to share that truth to whoever God puts us in contact with, big and small. This is Can You Believe It? Join us next time as we continue to explore issues that are of essential factor to the development of the human life here on planet Earth. God bless you.